Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Digital Marketing Today. Happy to have Kyle Burt here, technology advisor and host of Dialed In. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Digital Marketing Today, everyone. Super excited to have Kyle Burt in the studio with us today. Thanks for coming down and joining us today. I've really been looking forward to having a conversation with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If there is anyone on the planet that doesn't know about you already,
plenty. I'm nothing.
Why don't you give us just a little bit about your background and let us know how you got to where you are right now.
Sure. I'm just a guy like most of us out there who trying to figure stuff out. Nobody has it all figured out. We're all building the plan on the way down, right? To use that analogy. But I served 10 . With the Federation, the Death Star Corporation. Almost sucked the life out of me. Learned a lot from them. Put down the blaster, took off the stormtrooper helmet. I'm making fun of AT&T here. I mean, if you didn't pick that up. Like I said, put down the blaster, took off the stormtrooper helmet, and joined the rebellion. Yeah. Started my own company as a trusted advisor, a technology advisor to some of my clients that I had at AT&T, who were struggling with just the Swiss Army knife approach of, hey, buy everything from one company. We're good at some of them, we're not good at others, but buy it anyway. So just saw a big gap there and decided to fill it.
That's awesome. So I think that's, I've talked with other people that have gone from kind of corporate role and struck out on their own as an entrepreneur. And I think that's a really smart way to do it. Like, while you're working for the corporation, you see opportunities there that maybe your company isn't fulfilling, and then maybe it's an opportunity for you to kind of jump into that entrepreneurial role and service those clients in a better way. So, how long has it been since you kind of made that transition?
Oh, geez, this is the fourth year now.
Cool.
So, I guess by the business standards, once you get past the dreaded first year, they say you're pretty good. Yeah. I would probably extend that now to let's see if I get past the fifth year.
Right.
But so far so good. It's just there's a strong need for a trusted partner inside of any organization for what the organization is trying to accomplish. Be it as simple as internet connectivity, phone system integration needs, or as advanced as, hey, how do we not become the next target? Like cybersecurity, awareness, training, all that. Like taking all that stuff like in the marketplace, it's just super confusing because everybody sells all of these things. And buying it from the guy who says that they're the best of the best of the best because he works for that company, that approach works, and it used to work very well, but it's working less and less.
Right.
You want more and more of these companies and these leaders, these business leaders inside of these organizations are looking for somebody that has their back. That's going to go in there and be like, hey, here's vendor A, here's vendor B, here's the pros and cons of both. I think you should go this way.
Right.
They're looking for that trust and that relationship.
No, that's awesome. We get a lot of that too, even on the media and the marketing side. I mean, there's so many people out there just spewing so much.
Yeah, it's just like you see it on LinkedIn land too. People connect with you and immediately just spam you with something.
Right. Like, well, we'll get into that later. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
So within Catch Cloud, you have this thing called the Battle app.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that and what the purpose of that is.
Yeah, so the Battle app is really our tool. It's built on Salesforce. It's designed to just take that entire marketplace of technology, the technology that organizations are buying, and just dissect it like super quick. Like I can down select based off, you're a healthcare organization, cool. HIPPO, we need FedRAMP, we need these certifications, we need ISO, whatever it is, we can plug that in and boom, just get straight down to the best provider. And we use these matrices to stack them up next to each other so that we can really ethically vet out the best provider, right?
Cool.
For the business. Like does it make sense? Okay, so you want to do hosted desktop as a service. Okay, well, this company's been doing it for a month. This company's been doing it for 10 years. We could see that next to each other. We could see that all laid out. It's not there's nothing hidden, and that's what we're trying to do. Trying to expose the truths of what solutions are out there, what solutions are vetted, and what makes the most sense for your business.
That's awesome. So anyone out there looking for information, please get in touch with Kyle and check out the Battle app. It sounds like a really great tool.
Yeah, and the reason why is because, like I said, the Swiss Army knife approach of like, hey, come on, we do it all, we do everything. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work because you're not focused on the one thing. Like if you go to a phone company that they do phones and that's what they do, they're gonna dominate it.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a company that they do Azure managed Azure cloud management, they're gonna dominate that because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so
Sure.
and once you start to introduce those complexities, that's where the IT director or the business leader there starts to be like, okay, well now I got to manage 12 different vendors because these 12 are good, they're 12 things respectively,
Yeah.
but who's going to manage them?
Right.
That's where I come in.
Yeah. Cool. We do something similar with our business model because I feel the same way. It really bothers me when, like you go to somebody's marketing company's website and they have just like, 30,000 different, things that are their core services, right?
Right.
So, our deal is we're a video-centric digital marketing, so we really concentrate, our core competency is on the video content side. We offer other services, but we're really transparent with like key strategic partners that we come in, but also we will manage that whole process and the whole project so the client only has like one point of entry that they need to come to find out information, to make it easy on them. So
and I believe and that's what the marketplace actually wants right now is they want that. Mm-hmm. And it's not just what I think, but I believe it's what you're seeing, what we're seeing out there.
Right.
Right? If you go to a company's webpage and some guy shows up with a banjo and he starts like singing off all the services that they offer, it's like, really?
Right.
Could you really do all those?
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Well, I want to kind of change gears a little bit. So we met in person. We were connected already, but we met in person at a LinkedIn Local event. I know you're the host of LinkedIn Local Plano, right?
Yep.
And it was a really great event that I went to. Our other dear friend Katie Wallace was your co-host for that event. So that's how I got there. But one of the things that I really think is awesome about the LinkedIn Local events is it's this philosophy of taking online connections and taking those offline and vice versa, offline connections and then taking them online.
Right.
So what made you kind of want to become a host of that, the LinkedIn Local events and what kind of benefits have you seen from that?
Sure. I guess I won't take this way back, but I'm in business. I'm an entrepreneur, so I got to wear every single hat. I have to do the finances. I got to be the sales guy. I got to be the marketer. I got to be all these things to all these different people to keep my business going. And one of the areas that I just see just a struggle for everybody is like the sales hat. Because you put that sales hat on, and what are you doing? Are you cold calling people? Are you LinkedIn spamming people? Are you cold emailing people? And like you talk to 10 different people, they'll tell you 10 different ways to do it. What my approach is just, enough of all of that. Like behind just, I want to make a transaction with you. Do you want to buy this thing now? Behind that, there's a human being here. Let's connect on a personal level first. Let's start to build a relationship first. And if we do business together, great. If not, that's great. But let's put the stigma of, hey, we're trying to do a transaction together. Put that away for a second and just like connect with one another.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of a difficult thing for some people to grasp right away, but it's once you start doing that and you just have like a giving mentality of just, hey, I'm going to put on this event. I don't know that it's going to bring us any financial gain at all. The purpose of it is not financial gain. The purpose of it is just bringing people together who have a common interest, aka LinkedIn in this case, and just meeting each other.
Yeah.
Some people call it H2H, human to human movement. Somebody said this one guy said it best. He said, it's not B to B, it's me to be.
Okay, that's
because
cool.
Businesses don't, like, Coca-Cola doesn't call up Frito-Lay and say, hey, we're going to do business. No. There's a guy at Coca-Cola that calls up a guy at Frito-Lay and then they talk. So people are doing business, not businesses.
Yeah.
But we got stuck in this mentality of, oh, it's B2B or B2C.
Right.
No, it's me to a business.
Right.
And vice versa.
I like that. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, me to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Raj Daniels. There it is.
Okay, we'll give him
I had to
credit.
plug him.
There you go.
I
Good job, Raj.
Yeah.
All right. So that leads me to kind of a different part of our discussion, but I think this is a good time to take like a little short break first. So when we come back on the other side of the break, I want to talk about your Dialed In live podcast show that
Cool.
you do every week and let you plug that a little bit and kind of talk about that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about LinkedIn marketing because you do a really great job at that. And maybe you have like some advice or tips and tricks that you can share with our audience.
Sure.
So one of the things that we do every week on Digital Marketing Today is you see this great piece of artwork that's behind us here. We like to recognize and promote local artists. So our artist for today that we're promoting is Rob Denton. He's a local Dallas artist, and he's represented by our friend David Call of David Call Designs. The contact information is there on the screen if you like this piece of artwork. It's called When Paul Met Willem, and it's a representation of a photograph that Rob Denton saw of Paul McCartney and Willem de Koning. So it's in the style of Willem de Koning, and kind of represents, he was inspired by that photograph that he saw of the two of them together. So if you like the artwork, give us a shout out. Go check out Rob Denton and check out David Call Designs, who represents our artists that we bring into the studio. So we're going to take a short commercial break to recognize our sponsor for today's program, and we'll be right back on Digital Marketing Today. And welcome back to Digital Marketing Today. We're continuing our discussion with Kyle Burt today. So we were just kind of breaking the glass there as far as LinkedIn goes and talking about LinkedIn local events, which you host up in Plano. I also want to talk about your live podcasts that you do. Obviously, we're into video podcast.
You guys are a little bit in, yeah.
And then doing live programming, just a little bit of an obsession.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy your shows. Dialed In is the name of the show, and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central, right? Yep. So tell us a little bit about that and kind of the inspiration behind the show and the type of content that you're putting out there.
Sure. So I follow the Gary Vee content model. So if anyone out there knows what I'm talking about, then you know. If not, look it up. It's an 83-page content model. It's funny, I was doing it before he released it, and so when he released it, it's just like, yep, cool, like affirmative, we're on track. Yeah. And that is simple. It's have a pillar type of show. Don't be the commercial, be the show. Nobody watches commercials, so if you're trying to get your message across in business, whatever, I don't care whatever your business is, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever you're trying to get attention first to then grow your business, you need to capture our attention, and you're not going to do so with commercials. You're going to capture our attention by being the show, having something of value, having something interesting, entertaining, inspiring, or what have you. So that's kind of the premise behind it. And then I fell in love with doing this. So me and another guy named Kyle had a show called Coffee with Kyle's. Yeah. It was pretty successful to my definition of success, and it was great fun. More important than anything else, it was a lot of fun. So I kind of like caught the bug of all of this then, and he and I went different ways, but the show goes on for me, so I had to find something else. I was paralyzed a little bit with like what I'm going to do next, and then I just went. So the name of the show was first called Connected with Kyle on the same naming scheme of Coffee with Kyle's, and then this concept of Dialed In literally was born during the live shows. Because what I would do is I would allow people to actually dial into the show. Right. One of the areas of my business, I actually sell phone systems. Right. Dialed in. People are dialed into their craft. It just kind of bled together. So it's beautiful. It's something that it's still a work in progress. It's still something that we're building a plane on as we fall to the sky every day. Generally speaking, we have a lot of IT directors on now, IT people on, so technology focused, but it's not completely 100% that. I'd say it's like 70% IT focused, and then 30% whatever I feel like that day.
Sure, yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that it's a dial-in show too.
Yeah.
So that kind of takes. I mean, it's for those of us who are kind of venturing into this world of live video and kind of slash podcast and
right.
It's kind of amorphous kind of
It's
thing
just
that's out
evolution
there,
that's happening right now.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a to me it's kind of an old school kind of approach, as far as a dial-in show. So that's one of the things that I really like about it, and it happens to like dovetail perfectly in with your industry and your expertise. So I think it's brilliant.
It does. I had I think we definitely set the record because LinkedIn is like brand new to live streaming anyway. But we had a 7-way phone call. On this show, and this was something that like I had like a crazy, we get these crazy dreams. Like I had this crazy dream like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, hey, I wonder if I could have like somebody come on like every 2 minutes, dial somebody else in, and I forgot about it while we were live. I'm like, you know what? There's all these people were texting me. They wanted to call into the show. I'm like, we're doing this. We're doing this now. And like every 2 minutes, I had somebody else call in, and cool. It was wild. Yeah. It was awesome.
That's really cool.
And somehow nobody talked over each other.
Yeah.
It actually worked.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap up here in a little bit, but going back to the whole LinkedIn thing, I mean, you mentioned something before about just coming right out of the gate and trying to sell on LinkedIn. That's one of my pet peeves. So obviously that's what not to do.
Right.
Why don't you give us an example, and it could be a personal example or maybe just, kind of a generic example for those listening in a couple of minutes, like what would be your approach to maybe searching for, reaching out to someone on LinkedIn that you really wanted to connect with, that you think you could do business with? What's your approach on how to reach out to them, how to interact with them, and get to that point where you can start having a conversation?
Sure, I'll make this real simple. Like if I wasn't creating content, because obviously that's what I have chosen to do is create content and go that direction. But if I wasn't creating content, then what I would do is I would identify some individuals that I think I want to work with, that I think I can provide value to, and I would try to provide them as much value as possible up front. So I would learn as much as possible about them, about their role, like what I think keeps them up at night, what I think their struggles are, and try to provide value. Don't even mention the word like talk about getting a meeting to sell you. Like if there's something that relates to a CIO in healthcare, for instance, like, and that's who you're trying to talk to, like send him something of that he or she might like to see, that might bring value to their day. And it's going to take time. It's going to take 7, 8, 9, 12, 34 times, before you can actually get to that point where you can actually ask for that meeting or ask for that sale. But you got to feel that out. It's going to be different for every single person you talk to, because if you focus on the relationship first and put the sale secondary, and I know that's super twisted for sales managers out there and salespeople listening to this, but if you do that, your business will grow tenfold.
Thank you very much, Kyle, for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the time and for all the great tips and sharing your experience with us. So stay tuned. We'll be back next week on Digital Marketing Today with another one of my favorite people, Fanny Dunnigan. We're really looking forward to that conversation as well. Have a great week, and thanks for joining us on Digital Marketing Today.